Welcome to MINDSHOCK. This is your host, Bruce McGuire. And this is Lucky 7, Episode 7 of this Red Pill Showdown of Michael Knowles versus Pearl Davis. I think this is the one. I think we're going to be able to finally finish this display of goofery by Michael Knowles as he vies for Dunning-Kruger championships. I mean, I think he really is capable of challenging even Michael Sartain and, of course, Craig of Fight the Flat Earth. I mean, this guy seems to be not just as goofy as they come, but as bad faith as they come. As always, if you enjoy the MINDSHOCK podcast, find it interesting and informative, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. If you're not getting them, just like and comment and share the videos more on platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and Patreon. You could also become a YouTube member right here on YouTube. Help support the channel that way. So, let's pick up right where we left off. I mean, wow, this really is a doozy. This was so much more challenging than I thought. Yes, Dave Scott, I have made a positive claim that I really think I can finish this. Now, I don't know if I can promise it because Michael Knowles keeps dropping the floor out on his goofery. And his ability to continue to do so hour after hour after hour. I mean, this is uncanny. I mean, the word we're looking for is probably uncanny. I mean, who would have thought this supposed intellectual would just get absolutely steamrolled from this TikTok commenter chick in her 20s who doesn't claim to be an intellectual. I don't think she even claims to be smart at all in general. I mean, I've never really heard her talk about herself in any kind of grandiose fashion. I mean, it's just she's been absolutely wrecking this fool, both on basic children's level logic, common sense, and even the Bible itself. I mean, this charlatan, this bad faith charlatan, possibly being used as the devil's instrument. I mean, she's been decimating him even on matters of the Bible. I mean, he doesn't even know the basics of the Bible, the absolute basics. I mean, this is absolutely uncanny stuff. So, who's ready here? We got Dave Scott, Christopher Allen, Kill the Bank, the one and only Heracles, all in the chat. Kill the Bank says, we've went a long way from the intellectuals of the past. I mean, I've actually mentioned this on several podcasts now, where at least back in the day, there was a certain level of competency with even propagandists. There was a certain level. I mean, that's all gone now. Actually, you know what? Let's do a poll. Who thinks we're actually going to finish with part 7? All right, gents, all you logical legends up in here, what do you got? Are we going to be able to finish this is the longest part, actually. I think even Joe Rogan, with all of his gophery against Eddie Bravo, I think we even wrapped that up in maybe 5 parts, perhaps. And Joe Rogan is quite the goof himself. Dave Scott said the only thing we know for sure is we're going to laugh our butts off. I mean, this level of gophery. Again, I did not expect this from Michael Sartain. I am mind-shocked myself. Bruce McGuire, Mind-Shocked on Mind-Shock by Michael Knowles. 100% say yes so far. Okay. All right. Let's get going here, otherwise we won't finish. So let's see. I think we are nearing the end here.
But I'll see guys that take you guys. But I'll see guys.
Hopefully everybody's checked out the previous 6 episodes. I forget where Knowles was last time, where I just had to, just cut it off because the goofery got just way too extreme. But, yeah, and if there's any audio issues, just bring it up in the chat if it's not coming through for some reason.
And every guy should just decide for himself. I'm not going to tell him.
But that's not, I say it comes from God or their purpose.
Okay, so is it better? And every guy should just decide for himself. I'm not going to tell him.
But that's not, I say it accusing your husband of abuse, taking the kids and getting fat after you get the ring.
Yeah, that's true. But they've already gotten married at that. I thought we were trying to figure out how they even.
Oh yeah, sorry, but that would be good too.
I agree. Yes, that you shouldn't.
Yeah,
it's untrue. Yeah.
And I think advocating for divorce reform would be a good step. So.
I totally agree, and I really like that last point because it acknowledges that our behavior is conditioned by our circumstances.
No, I think you're responsible for your behavior.
Then why would we? Why would we?
Oh, this is already painful already. Just the level of cope here. So for those that haven't seen the previous 6 parts that are just jumping in here, Knowles has put on a masterclass clinic in diversion fallacy. So he's basically spammed endless red herring logical fallacies, saying things that might be tangentially true, but aren't directly related to any of the subjects here, or flat out non sequiturs, which actually aren't really related at all. Even though they might be true, they're not related at all. And then, of course, he has just flat out lied about tons of things and been very deceptive in his charlatan ways. But yeah, the pain is coming back now. Just, wow, just the level of goofery here.
Change the divorce laws.
So you can stop paying women to leave. I guess
I thought we were trying to figure out how to get women to get married. That was what we're right.
Well,
so
yeah,
why would changing the divorce laws affect that?
Well, it would change the incentive structure, but I still think it's like, okay, you could be paid to do something wrong, but you're still responsible if you do it.
Sure, but you're more inclined to do it.
Wow. That was her point, that you're more inclined to do it. Like, the level of contrarian here, again, is this Illuminati humiliation ritual in and of itself Knowles' entire so-called performance here? Make it make sense. Basically, my theory is that Knowles might have a split personality. His main personality understood the assignment that was the humiliation ritual, and he's here to humiliate himself, and he's got some kind of weird fetish for doing it, and he enjoys humiliating himself. A quick look through his filmography on some of the sketchy short films and Hollywood films he did will reveal that. Now, he might also have a split personality that he's oscillating in and out of that is completely mentally disabled and doesn't understand the first assignment. So he's playing contrarian on top of contrarian, where he'll disagree with Pearl just to disagree with her, and then he'll disagree with himself just to continue the disagreement going, supporting her initial point while pretending he didn't play the contrarian game. So this is the level of deceptive goofery we've been dealing with for countless hours now.
If the temptation is strong enough, and if your moral fiber is weaker.
Yeah, fair enough.
I agree with that.
So we sort of agree,
I think we broadly agree.
Yeah.
The only place in which we really disagree, I think, is that, as you've admitted, you adopt a little bit more of a liberal worldview. Whether
And this is where he's projecting, because the liberal worldview is all his here. She's been very conservative and traditionalist, and he's basically gone full retard, full vegetable for this entire so-called debate, conversation, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's been blatantly obvious. This is one of the final copes he has. He started psychologically projecting, and very, very bizarre.
That's because you say, well, it's just the way things are, man, or because you exalt the individual and the free choice, just choose to do whatever you want.
I would say I describe the world as it is, where you describe it how you would like it to be.
And I would say
I deal.
Of course he would say the exact same thing to her because he's projecting. She's backed up all her points. She did her homework. She came pretty prepped. I mean, she could have prepped even more. I mean, yeah. But, and she let him off the hook way too much. But it was still complete and utter decimation here. And it seems like, I don't know, the only cope he has left now is projection.
And you, I would say, deal in ought.
But I think oughts derive from is, because I think...
I mean, look how he's piling it on. He couldn't even refute that, so he immediately went to the red herring fallacy. Like, he just stacks these mountains of red herring fallacies. Like, he's so contrarian. He's so triggered and contrarian. Or if not triggered, he's just reveling in humiliating himself to this level that he'll just jump in to be contrarian and spam red herrings just for the heck of it. Just for the heck of it.
That nature has an end. So I would say I am describing the world as it is. Obviously, it's my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think you're describing...
Is it really his opinion, though? I mean, he's been such a flat-out, blatant liar. Is it even really his opinion? Flicking the devil's tongue here. I mean, and look how feminine he even holds his wrist. I mean, this is painful to watch.
A liberal, utopian, literally utopian view of things.
How is it a liberal utopia to say that men should have access to their children?
Because...
I mean, she's genuinely confused with Knowles' full retard here. She looks confused. Like, she can't make it out why Knowles can't even at least pretend to be above a 3-4-year-old level. It's kind of weird.
That it creates an idol out of the individual will and autonomy.
Oh yeah, this is where we left off. This is exactly the moment I had to check out last time. Creating an idol out of human will. So God gave man human will, and Knowles has dropped the floor out on the goofer. I mean, he's dropped several floors out at once now. At once! Making an idol out of God-given free will? What? What? And everything that Knowles has been preaching this entire time is blatantly anti-Bible. Blatantly anti-Christian, and of course anti-logic.
Which is...
How? By saying that men...
Because you're saying men ought to do whatever they want.
Wait, where did she say that?
And I'm saying they should.
By saying men should be cautious.
No, well, I'm referring to a different statement of yours, which is men ought to choose whatever they want to do.
Wait, when did she even say that? She said whatever they want to do? What the heck? Like, man, this goof, like, does he not even remember what anything she said? Like, his strawmanning and just blatant lying at this point is insane.
But I always say by following God and their purpose.
Right, and I'm saying their purpose can be known through reason, and God's existence can be known through reason, and obviously then to cooperate with God, there's revelation.
But we've all...
What the heck is he? Again, he just keeps dropping the floor out on these diversion fallacies. I don't know. Call me crazy. I don't know. Bad faith or not, I actually don't think that Sartain or Craig have argued dumber than this guy. Because even they didn't spam this level of diversion fallacy. This repeated. I mean, it's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Also agreed that some people are called to say priesthood, so that's not in...
But we're not talking about priests, are we?
Well, we weren't specifically not talking about priests. We're talking about men. Can men not be priests? What is this goof smoking? Like, this is absolutely crazy. He's actually, not only does he keep dropping the floor out, he's increased the frequency in which he's dropping the floor. He's dropping the floor out every statement now. I mean, the exponential increase in frequency of super dingers has exceeded even Craig. I mean, this is absolutely bonkers.
Some men are called to celibacy. All of the apostles weren't married.
Right. The
majority.
The first priests. Yeah, some were. But the first priests acting in persona Christi, in the person of Christ, who's the bridegroom of the church, have a special charism of celibacy.
Right.
But you and I aren't, we're not really talking about priests, are we? We're talking about laymen who just don't want to get married.
Okay.
Wait, what? Wait, now he's hallucinating and strawmanning. Pearl was only talking about the subset of men who already don't want to get married? She was clearly referring to the men that are currently getting married and having all these troubles with divorce. I mean, oh man, at this point, I really don't know. Perhaps Michael Knowles, perhaps all those years of acting training, he's managed to hoodwink everybody into thinking he actually is kind of logical. I mean, I don't know. Was this all memorization? Was his decimation of all these woke college goofs, was that simply because he memorized and regurgitated responses to them and he doesn't actually comprehend anything? Because at this point, I mean, it's hard to believe. Like, I'm having trouble understanding that Michael Knowles isn't mentally disabled from this. It just seems, it's like, even if he's a charlatan, even if he's being openly deceptive, just the manner, just the increase in dropping the floor out on the gopher, unless this was all also part of the plan, I mean, I don't know. Was this all part of the strategy of how to humiliate oneself more than anyone has ever done in any kind of debate or discussion? If so, bravo, Michael Knowles. I mean, I don't know. I think I might have to give it to him. This might be the most humiliating display of any human in any conversation ever. I don't know.
Well, I think that every guy has to decide for himself.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
And that comes from either God or your purpose as a man.
And your purpose as a man is?
Different for every man.
Yeah, I guess that's the liberal part. It's kind of.
Wait, what? How's that liberal? Wait, what? How's that liberal? Even under, I mean, that's even strictly under the Bible. I mean, obviously not every man is going to be a priest. Not every man is going to get, I mean, this is all very, very biblical. What is he talking about liberal? So he doesn't know what the word liberal means. And that would actually explain a lot. If he doesn't know the definition of any of the words being used here, which he admitted, he was like asking what is sexist, what is marriage. I mean, he didn't seem to know the basic definitions, or he's just playing stupid. But either way, I mean, if he actually doesn't know the definitions of any of these words, this actually makes sense.
You do you. Choose your own.
I wouldn't, like you're a political commentator. That's going to be different than
Cigar
what
salesman.
It's going to be different than what other guys want to do.
Sure, but I'm a guy who works my job, is married, has kids, in as much as I'm blessed to have kids, respects my elders, has a patriotic loyalty to my country, and gives.
Well, that's kind of anti-Bible. He's pledging allegiance to earthly kingdoms. I mean, this goof is insane. Like, I don't know, is this just mental illness? Have we overlooked the possibility that this is all mental illness? So he's not necessarily completely brain dead. Maybe he is capable of logic, but the mental illness is so extreme that's causing all of this. Is that possible? I don't know. I mean, maybe we just genuinely haven't explored the severe mental illness angle. Because if he doesn't actually comprehend, if the mental illness is causing his complete lack of awareness and his inability to understand definitions of certain words but not others, I mean, I don't know. Is it possible this is all mental illness?
God, I hope even some modicum of the worship that is due to him on this earth, so I can enjoy him forever.
That's great.
I hope that
Good job.
I hope that I'm doing it even in any way that's
Yeah.
satisfactory. But that's
Well, he's doing the devil's work here, so not quite satisfactory.
not just from my personal preference
Mhm.
or my subjective sense of what my purpose is, man. That
Wow, that was kind of fruity. I have to play that back. That was kind of fruity.
Called the celibacy. All of the apostles weren't married.
right. The
majority,
first
yeah.
priests, yeah, some were, but
Yeah.
the first priests acting in persona Christi, in the person of Christ,
Mhm.
who's the bridegroom of the church,
Mhm.
have a special charism of celibacy.
Right,
But you and
right,
I aren't.
but-
We're not
but-
really talking about priests, are we? We're talking about
Well,
lay
I'm-
men who just don't want to get married.
Okay. Well,
That's not what anybody was talking. That wasn't even what Knowles was talking about prior. No, that was the one group of men nobody was actually talking about, and he's pretending that's what they were. Again, maybe it's all mental illness. I don't know.
I think that every guy has to decide for himself.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is,
And that comes from either God or your purpose as a man.
and your purpose as a man is,
Different for every man.
yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that's the liberal part. It's
Yeah.
kind of you do you, choose your own.
I wouldn't, like you're
Where did she say you do you? Like, go do whatever you want. Go be a sodomite. Like, where is she promoting that? She's saying be smart. Be aware.
a
She's even advocating following the Bible. Like, how is that liberal to advocate following the Bible?
you're a political commentator. That's going to be different than
Cigar
what other.
salesman.
Yeah, it's going to be different than what other guys want to do. Or,
Sure,
you
but
know.
I'm a guy who
Well, I mean, some people would actually dispute that as well.
works my job,
Mhm.
is married, has kids, in as much as I'm blessed to have
Are those kids really his, though? I mean, he's too terrified to ever get a paternity test. So how does he really know, though?
kids, respects my elders,
He doesn't seem to respect his elders either.
has a patriotic loyalty to my country,
Pledging allegiance to earthly kingdoms, violation of the Bible there.
Mhm.
and gives God, I hope, even some modicum of the worship that is due to him on this earth, so I can enjoy him forever.
That's great.
I hope that
Good job.
I hope that I'm doing it even in any way that's
Yeah.
satisfactory. But that's not
All right, watch here. He's not able to hide his flamboyant, fruity gestures here. Watch this.
just from my personal preference
Mhm.
or my subjective sense of what my purpose.
What is he doing? What are these called? Are these what are the fingers from Bring It On called? Spirit fingers? Is he doing spirit fingers right here? What is Michael Knowles doing right here? He's channeling his fruitiness, which there's no shortage of. Again, go back to his short films of being in bed with men and cross-dressing. He's channeling his fruitiness here. I mean, what is going on here? I mean, again, is this all humiliation ritual?
Man, that is prescribed, and it's something that I've arrived at,
Right.
as many other men have arrived at that exact same answer through reason that I
Mhm.
take also as a matter of authority.
I mean, he doesn't seem to know what the word reason means either. Because mentally disabled or not, if there's a major mental health issue here, if there's incredible mental illness here, that could explain why he doesn't understand any of these basic definitions of words.
Mhm.
That's very different from, hey man, every guy should just decide for himself. I'm not going to tell him.
But that's
something's
not.
better
I
than
say it
anything
comes from
else.
God or their purpose.
Okay, so is it better to get married or better not to get married?
Depends on the guy. For the.
There you go.
For
And it depends on the woman. There you go, what? Is it better to be a priest or not to be a priest? There you go, what, Michael? Now, is it better to be a priest or not to be a... Like, you see how all these non sequitur, red herring, begging the question, circular reasoning, false dichotomy, diversion, fallacy stacks here. I mean, he is definitely in the running for top dog of Dunning-Kruger champion.
because some men are called to celibacy, some men are called to
Putting the
priesthood.
priests aside for a second, what about the guys who are not going to be priests?
Some men don't have the option to get married, Michael.
I'm just saying, should they? Would it be good for them to do it if
I
they
don't
could?
deal in shoulds, I deal with what is.
Like, she said that 50 million times, and Knowles was the goof. Do you remember just moments ago? And just moments ago, he was saying, well, I'm just describing the world as it is. So why is he always talking about should if he's talking about the way the world is? I mean, he's not even consistent in his own goofery. He's not even consistent in his own goofery.
Yeah.
Well,
and look at me sputtering and stuttering. I have to hand it to Pearl Davis here. Pearl Davis has made a complete and utter goof of Michael Knowles. She has him stuttering and sputtering for hours on end. I mean, Pearl Davis has effectively taken down Michael Knowles, possibly permanently. I don't know how he can ever come back from this. I don't see how. The level of decimation is so complete here. Like, it's not like this was a short little interview and she got a couple of gotchas on him. This was sheer intellectual dominance where Michael Knowles, I mean, he hasn't even brought toddler level points to the table. And this was sheer decimation from beginning to end. And hopefully we're almost at the end here, but again, the goof is sputtering and stuttering. I should probably do a highlight reel of just all of his sputtering and stuttering against Pearl. And in all the stuttering and sputtering might actually have more logical coherency than the actual words he used.
You do deal with shoulds in some ways, right? You do say some things are better than other things. But on this question, you're not willing to do it, which is why I say that the red pill, though it acknowledges many problems in the world, that the red pill
Dave Scott calling for 4 more hours. See, Dave Scott, I am a mere mortal, Dave Scott. I really cannot handle, like, this level of goofery. I mean, perhaps not as an extreme level of goofery I could handle for more hours, but Michael Knowles is a very unique individual. Very, very unique. I mean, he's got this supreme mix of bad faith, goofery, mental illness apparently as well.
Diagnoses a lot of problems. The red pill ultimately fails in its prescriptions. And
how does it do that? So he doesn't appear to know what the red pill is or how to define it. So how would he know whether it failed or not if he doesn't even know what the prescriptions are, let alone what the red pill is? I mean, this is wild. I mean, the level of goofery that Michael Knowles has brought to the table, even Michael Sartain and Craig of Fight the Flat Earth have not brought this level of goofery. Michael Knowles might be the champ. He really might. I will retroactively implement the system to see how many fallacies he hit, but he might be the champ. I don't know. He might be.
Is ultimately kind of the flip side of feminism because it adopts a basically liberal
it's tough because
I mean he's just going to false premise now so severely. This is crazy. Heracles says Bruce is a walking, talking Lorentz contraction. Oh man, you guys are too funny. Too funny.
the prescriptions kind of, I don't really do that. There's different content creators that prescribe different things.
I think you prescribe a little.
Some things I agree with. I'll give one prescription actually.
Okay.
I'll give one, just one.
All right.
If you get married, get a prenup.
No, you can't get a prenup because it invalidates the sacrament.
Really?
Yeah, a marriage is fully giving of yourself to the other person. No.
Wait, hold on a second. Oh man. Oh man, he just dropped he dropped an entire elevator shaft. He dropped a World Trade Center length elevator shaft out. Forget the floor. Wow. I mean, I'm really impressed with Michael Knowles' ability to. I was impressed before he increased the frequency of floor dropping on the Goofery. I mean, he just did a World Trade Center length elevator shaft dropout. I mean, this is crazy. So he doesn't appear to know what a sacrament even is. I mean, this is absolutely insane. I mean, Cambridge defines sacrament as, in the Christian church, a ceremony regarded as especially sacred, marriage or baptism. So what does this have to do with the state? What does it have to do with government? What does it have to do with the coldest of all of cold monsters, as Nietzsche put it, regarding the state, the authorities? So Michael Knowles' goofery here is so extreme, but by that logic, getting a certificate from the state would invalidate the sacrament. So getting a marriage, the sacrament, getting a marriage license would invalidate it. Because, I mean, we could even go to Wikipedia. Many Christians consider the sacraments to be a visible symbol of the reality of God, as well as a channel for God's grace. I mean, can anybody think of a greater antithesis of God's grace than involving statism, than involving mercenaries for the state? I mean, again, he just dropped a World Trade Center length elevator shaft out on his own goofery. I mean, I am impressed. I mean, I am so impressed here. I mean, this is insane. I mean, okay, I think this statement might actually win him the Dunning-Kruger crown, because it is so utterly clueless and devoid of any possible logic and reason, while being hyper-dosed with so much hypocrisy. I mean, this is absolutely insane. I mean, wow. I mean, I might need a minute here just to process this level of goofery. I mean, wow. So a prenup invalidates a sacrament, but if the state is involved, how can it be a sacrament if you involve not just men, but the most corrupt of men? In your own private business, or your business between yourself and God, if it's a sacrament and God's grace. I mean, can anybody, like, this might actually be the dumbest, I mean, I don't know, he's made so many dumb statements here. I mean, this is so wild here. I mean, I think Michael Knowles might have borderline rendered me speechless for a moment. I might need a second here. Wow. I mean, wow. I mean, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Wow. Dave Scott commented here, could we just have found something higher than a super dinger? Yeah, this might be a super duper dinger. Or AKA pulling a Knowles. I mean, this might be a super duper dinger. An SDD. Not an STD, but an SDD. This might be an SDD, and this might have to be worth like 10,000 combo points. This might have to be worth 10,000 fallacy combo points. Because, wow. So it's okay for the most corrupt of the authorities, like the greatest antithesis to God one can imagine. They can assign the marriage certificate. They can usurp all religious authority. If I mean, like, obviously we could subdivide that. But let's say you believe in the church. Let's say, I mean, depending how strictly you want to analyze the Bible, the Gospel of Barnabas, where Jesus specifically talks about there being no middleman with God, so you wouldn't have church or any of that stuff. But regardless, if you Michael Knowles is such a statist bootlicker, he thinks that it is valid to have corrupt human authorities issue marriage certificate or marriage licenses, but not prenups. I mean, this isn't just elevator shaft level goofery, floor dropouts. This, I mean, the level, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's all mental illness. Who knows? Maybe this is all just sheer mental illness. Now, for the people who don't know what I'm talking about, I guess we can go to the Bible here that Knowles claims he believes in, but clearly, I mean, everything he's been preaching, everything he's been saying has been explicitly anti-Bible, anti-Christian, this entire debate. So, 1 Corinthians 2:5, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. So why would you invite the coldest of all cold monsters, the #1 body count entity in history, into your supposedly holy union with your wife? I mean, what? What? Ephesians 6:12 also makes it very clear. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers. Against the rulers. Against the authorities. Against the rulers and the authorities, a.k.a. the state. I mean, the level of gophery here from Michael Knowles. I mean, is it possible to be more anti-Bible than Michael Knowles? I mean, I don't know. He's been anti-Bible this whole time. So, yeah, I think we are going to have to start the super-duper dinger category just for Michael Knowles. We might have to. We might have to. I mean, this is crazy stuff here. This is absolutely crazy stuff because marriage certificates and prenups these are all worldly affairs between men. So if marriage has nothing to do with that, then if marriage has nothing to do with the state, then obviously the prenup wouldn't apply. But he's hallucinating in his gophery that the state is involved in marriage and that's okay. Bite the bullet. His whole argument is some people win at the casino. So it doesn't matter if people lose, doesn't matter if people commit suicide from their losses. It's still a good investment to go to the casino, according to Michael Knowles. That was basically all he had, which isn't much.
No strings attached.
You don't even believe in prenups?
Certainly not. The nearest I would come to a prenup would be, I call it the Michael Knowles prenup, which is, and I'm sort of cheekily suggesting it because I really object to prenups in all circumstances. But the Knowles prenup would be whoever initiates the divorce forfeits everything.
Okay.
That's the nearest that I would come to a prenup.
Okay. Okay, so you kind of, but in 2024, you wouldn't advise a guy gets
30-24, 40-24, wow. 10-24.
Sorry, I'm just shocked. Like, you hear the stories I'm telling you.
He obviously doesn't care. I mean, this guy's scum. This guy was laughing at men who lost almost everything in divorce court and who couldn't see their children. Men he claimed were either his friends or good friends. He laughed at them not being able to see their children. And this scum, this evil scum, also laughed when he was talking about men sexually assaulting and sexually using women. I mean, he literally laughed. He couldn't help but laughing. And then also when Pearl brought up, there was another point in the previous episode, maybe it was 2 episodes ago now, it's kind of hard to keep track of all the goofery and all the sheer evil that Michael Knowles couldn't contain when he was cackling about all of this. Who remembers the last major point where she says it's not funny? He said it kind of is. I forgot what they were talking about. He's like, it's kind of funny. What was he? Oh, I totally forgot. Something to do... Oh, the men raising children that weren't theirs, and the children not even knowing who their biological father was. He was laughing about it, and he called that kind of funny. I mean, can you imagine the level of scum you have to be to think that? I mean, this Michael Knowles is just basically pure evil. I mean, he's being Satan's instrument here, and I mean, at least he's being congruent about his anti-Bible position, because he's been anti-Bible about absolutely everything this entire conversation.
You know the state of marriage
I'm articulating
today.
the Catholic view.
You know the state of women today, and men still can't get prenups?
Right.
To protect themselves?
Right, because marriage in its nature, as you said, is a lifelong union of a man and a woman for the sake of begetting and educating children and for the mutual support of the spouses.
But
so if you begin that institution by saying this might not be a life.
Well, what if you begin the institution by inviting the number one cause of death in human history? Not just death, but theft. The number one cause of all sin in history, you're inviting it in with this marriage license. That's how you're starting this supposed sacred union. But Knowles doesn't have a problem with that. He has a problem with the prenup. I mean, wow. So this seems to be a unique combination of mental disability, split personality, and severe mental illness.
Long union. You have fundamentally undermined the institution.
So you fundamentally undermine the institution by inviting the state. I mean, is there anything the state is actually able to do competently? Like, is there anything that the government makes better or more efficient in any kind of way? And this is how Michael Knowles wants everybody to start off their marriage, by inviting the most incompetent and deadliest and anti-God entity into their lives. I mean, wow.
Before you've even begun.
Wow.
Wow, she said wow the same way I did.
That's crazy.
I can't argue with Pearl here. That is crazy. I mean, I can't argue with Pearl here.
It's just the Catholic view.
So
that's not the Catholic view at all.
Yeah, but if you don't get divorced, what does it matter if you don't do it?
Yeah, you don't get
divorced. And the thing is,
you're right.
But that's
Was that the question she asked? She asked, what does it matter if you don't? Did he ask how it matters or not? No, he didn't. He just laughed about it like a brain dead goof. I mean, also notice the pattern. He wasn't able to answer very simple questions throughout this entire debate, something he criticizes all the woke goofs that he argues against.
That's what I think we're going back to. You say what ought to be, and I say what is. Because even
you're also saying what ought to be, and I'm also saying what is.
No, you're trying to
But
because
I'm not trying to do anything.
Even in this.
Wow, look at how he's laughing in his denial of saying I'm not trying to do anything. Well, he's clearly trying to do the devil's work here.
Even in this scenario, the Catholic Church, the divorce rate is 35%. It's not uncommon.
Again, though, so
you're saying don't get in the car, don't put on a seatbelt.
But the view that you're articulating is a kind of a liberal view, which
not at all. I mean, the projection here is getting off the charts.
Is that we know what the Catholic Church teaches by just what the individuals might say.
He's going back to his spirit fingers. Like, why does he keep getting fruity and start dancing with his fingers? Like, I don't understand what's going on here. Like, is this the devil revealing himself physically, not just through the laughs, but now he's doing all these fruity spirit fingers or whatever? Like, this is weird. This is really, really weird.
Any given moment. That's not how it works. It works because there's a magisterium that's 2,000 years old that is articulated by a man who wears a funny hat.
But women are not acting in accordance to the Catholic teachings.
Man who wears a funny hat? I mean, is that blaspheming?
Yeah, many women don't. I'm just telling you what the Catholic view is. And
I'm
just telling you, that's clearly not the Catholic view. He doesn't even know the basics of the Bible.
I understand, but I think, wow, I just didn't realize your views were that extreme on that.
You mean that I believe what every Catholic believed until like 5 minutes ago?
He clearly doesn't. Everything he's been preaching has been clearly anti-Christian, anti-Bible. Now he's pretending that everything he's been saying is what every Catholic... I mean, the level of gopher here is crazy. This is crazy. Alien Big Cat 23, there's really no way to summarize this. You're going to have to be dedicated and watch all 7 parts. I'll be posting some highlights, but you really... Wow. I mean, you cannot put this guy in a nutshell. He's a very unique, uncanny individual.
I guess it is.
Yeah, I don't know how you would tell a guy that you love, like, not to protect himself in an institution where and
he also interrupts like a lot, which he also criticizes the woke goofs for doing. And it's like he's arguing like he's arguing kind of like an emotional menopausal woman here, just constantly jumping in, denying and diverting. Like it's really weird. It's very, very weird. Yeah, other than like he seemed kind of logical outside of this debate. Here, I mean, this is just sheer decimation. I mean, he might have won the Dunning-Kruger crown with his performance here.
2020 and 2024. Well, I mean, there's women that are good women at 22 and then at 42 decide the man's an abusive monster.
How'd they come to decide that?
Usually, a lot of times their friends get involved. A lot of times they start looking at the wrong.
So is he agreeing with her? Gotta watch. Is there a reason he interrupted to say gotta watch those friends when she's giving him the answer to the question, which it also might not even necessarily be relevant? Is it relevant to the man's bank account and his ability to see his children on the reason why? If he wasn't at fault, of course.
Media, or they just get spiteful and decide to do it on their own.
Gotta watch how that spite begins. I don't deny that it happens, that these things develop over time because of rot that can set into a marriage that a husband needs to be vigilant about, and a wife needs to be vigilant about.
If Michael Knowles gets divorced, someone should just play this video 24/7 in his house, at the Daily Wire studio, hack his cell phone and have this video playing 24/7 to remind him of his deceitful goofery.
If a woman decides to leave, the husband is still responsible?
The man is the head of the household and bears the leadership responsibility, in my view. It's not in the liberal view or the feminist view.
But he can't lead a chick that doesn't want to follow.
The Christian would say, yes, the man is the head of his household.
Okay, yeah. But I wouldn't say that's like typical in most religious marriages. I've heard kind of the same problems in the church and out of the church. So I wouldn't say that's the norm.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, what is it? 5 to 10% divorce rate among the traditionalists, and, you know, 10% among the Orthodox Jews.
Yeah, let's cherry pick on top of cherry pick on top of cherry pick on top of cherry pick.
30% among the Muslims, 34% among the Catholics broadly. That includes people like Joe Biden. And then that's still 10 points lower than.
You know what's weird, Heracles, though? I don't wish ill will towards anybody. But I just wouldn't be surprised if it did happen. Like, I would not be surprised. I also wouldn't be surprised if one or more of his children weren't his, just based on statistics. And, I mean, who knows? Like, if he hates himself as much as he hates all other men and women, as has been made clear here, I don't know what the effect of that. I mean, look at Destiny. So Destiny's getting divorced, right? I can't believe that goof was even married, but he had some kind of open marriage or something. It seems like he learned nothing, right? So Destiny, this clueless, mentally disabled goof, went anti-red pill for a while. Then he has this issue. His wife divorces him, whatever. And it seems like he learned nothing from it. So I don't know, even if Knowles did get divorced and one or more of his kids weren't his, I mean, is the mental capacity there for him to ever actually learn anything?
No, but we just said the Catholic divorce rate's a third.
That's why I said 34%. The national average is 46%.
Okay.
So, but the Catholic divorce rate includes people who don't practice the faith.
That's still not small. Yeah,
because I'm just saying it's significantly lower than the national average.
Is that relevant? Significant. Also, it's low. I don't know how significant. We could split hairs with these semantics logical fallacies that Michael Knowles is now desperately clinging to, but those are all statistics are always delayed. They're always delayed. So is he claiming they're going to go down or they're going to continue going up? So the difference, he's calling it significant, but whether it's significant or not doesn't really matter, because if they're constantly going up, what does that mean? He wants to roll the dice? Again, it's like he's saying don't get a real job. Just go to the casino because there are enough winners. I mean, the gopher here is crazy.
25%.
Yeah, that's just, wow. Yeah, I think men should protect themselves.
Well, you are shocked to discover that I'm a Catholic.
Wow. the begging the question fallacy there. I mean, that's a super duper dinger as well. Yeah, Michael Knowles, we might have to make a whole new system just for Michael Knowles. I mean, I thought Craig was bad. I mean, this guy's absolutely off his rocker. I mean, there's just no logical competency whatsoever. I mean, not really much for Craig either, but I mean, this guy, it's just, I don't know if it's just his mental illness is just very unique that's causing these World Trade Center height elevator shaft drops in goofery.
I'm shocked that you don't think that men have a valid marriage if they want to protect themselves in any way.
No, I just view,
Yeah.
Again, I really have to applaud Pearl. I mean, the amount of stuttering and sputtering. I mean, I might have to actually do a highlight reel. It might be just 10 straight minutes of a total time of stuttering and sputtering. I mean, she's got this goof completely wrecked.
I hold to the Catholic view of the sacrament of matrimony.
Okay.
That's shocking these days, I guess. Do you want to get married? I'm not proposing.
Well,
I'm not a bigamist.
I'm a woman.
You're a woman.
Yeah.
And therefore, you do want to get married.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, there's not risk as much for women, but I don't care about getting married with the state. I don't care. I would sign a prenup. I don't care.
Would you?
I
if you don't
do-
get
I do
married
wanna be
with the
married.
state, what is that? You just do it in a church ceremony or something,
Mhm.
but not recognized.
But the problem with the Catholic Church is
All right, here's an opportunity for Michael. There's no way to redeem himself, obviously. But here's an opportunity for him to actually address the state and possibly show some signs of brain function, some kind of brainwave activity. We've seen nothing yet. Here's an opportunity. Does anybody think he's actually going to show some kind of glimmers of brain function here in addressing the state? Because he seems very anti-Bible. He seems to not even know what the Bible says or intentionally misrepresents it. Dave Scott says, no way. Heracles says no. No one has any faith in Michael Knowles. I'm not putting any money on it, that's for sure. Pinto Sack says, no, sir. I will definitely not be putting money on Michael Knowles demonstrating brainwave activity. But let's see what happens.
a lot of times they won't do it unless it's recognized by the state.
Yeah.
Which I don't really understand.
The reason is that marriage is a public act.
Mm-hmm.
Is the traditional view of it. So it's not, modern people say, oh, it's just between me and my lover.
What is wrong with this? He's going back to his spirit fingers, doing his fruity little dances. What is wrong with this guy? This is the third or fourth time he's moved to this. Like it's like he has this compulsion to be fruity, and he can only hold back for so. What the hell is wrong with this guy? I mean, this is so weird. Like, who does this? I mean, you could hate on Ben Shapiro all you want. At least he has some kind of masculine energy. I mean, the guy was doing one-handed push-ups in his office in some video. He doesn't do these fruity wrist motions. He doesn't do spirit. Ben Shapiro doesn't do spirit fingers and all these weird dances. I mean, what is wrong with this guy? Should we do another poll? Let's do another poll. Oh man, the Daily Wire is not gonna like this next poll. Check out the poll, everybody. Wow. This is crazy. The poll is Knowles a sodomite? 100% of voters in the chat say yes. I probably should have put is/was for more accuracy, but yeah, this is crazy. I mean, he did mention his wild days at college. He did not specify with which gender that was. So we really don't know. but his proclivity, like, look how feminine his hands look. I mean, if you take his face out of the equation, could those be, that could easily be a woman's hand right there. I mean, there's no musculature at all there. I mean, those are very feminine hands. And his demeanor is very feminine as well. Okay, so this is really weird. Well, he also cross-dressed on it at minimum 2 occasions by the online researchers' claims.
We don't need a sheet of paper. So it's before God, but it's also before a minister of God. And it's also before the community, because marriage is both.
Wait, what does the community have to do with the state? Like, if your fellow villagers with which you're bartering and trading with, they're good people, they're farmers, what does that have to do with inviting the state? I mean, this bootlicking statist, I mean, this guy's so anti-human. I mean, it's crazy.
A sacrament, but also a natural institution. So because it's the basic building block of society, because it's political in that, political just means more than one person, because it's the basic unit of politics.
Political means more than one person? I've never heard that definition. Has anybody heard that definition? Oxford defines it as relating to the government or the public affairs of a country, relating to the ideas or strategies of a particular party or a group in politics specifically, interested in or active in politics. Merriam-Webster defines political as is of or relating to government, a government itself, or the conduct of government. How does that mean the plural of a person? I mean, what? Weird. Again, nobody's surprised, obviously. I mean, he doesn't seem to know the definition of a lot of these words here.
It's public.
Yeah,
it's public.
well,
That's why we can't get divorced willy-nilly.
Yeah.
Well, what does public have to do with with the violence of the state? What does public have to do? Having a marriage ceremony in a village square with all your fellow villagers has nothing to do with, like in Braveheart, when there's a marriage ceremony and then the English come and steal the bride. Like, is that necessary? Does inviting the government into the affairs, is that necessary? I mean, that's weird. That's weird. I mean, this goof is just absolutely mentally gone.
You've made a vow to God and to the public.
Well, you can nowadays.
You're right, but you should. Well, you shouldn't. Yeah.
But I would never want to put a guy in a position where he's signing like a contract legally that's not fair to him. I just think if I love someone, like, I wouldn't want to put him in that position. So personally,
who thinks Michael Knowles is capable of understanding the concept of love? I mean, so far, he hasn't demonstrated that. I mean, look at the goof's face. I mean, there's nothing going on between the ears there.
Why would
I don't care.
Why would it be unfair to sign a contract that the other party benefits from breaking, puts your entire livelihood at risk, and increases the possibility that you'll never see your children again? Why would that be unfair, according to Michael Knowles? I mean, he just did another World Trade Center elevator shaft drop. Like, why would that be unfair? Why would forcing someone to play Russian roulette be unfair? What's unfair about it? Let's all do it. Oh, man. Yeah, I think I have to crown this guy the champ, even without running the logical analysis system. I mean, I think I might have to. I mean, even Craig, Craig might not know what energy is. But I think Craig might understand the concept of fairness versus unfairness, maybe. I mean, I don't know if he's demonstrated that, but I think he might, whereas Knowles apparently doesn't.
Because
You could
you're
divorce her.
paid. I could. I know I wouldn't, but I think anything you can do nowadays to make a guy feel better about it with the risks today, I think is fine. So I don't really.
Wouldn't that increase the chance that he could divorce you? Not that anyone ever would. But
Yeah, but men divorce for like good reasons, where women divorce for the dumbest reasons.
I don't think there's any good reason.
No, there's no good reason, but there.
So murdering your own child, not a good reason. You know, cutting off your spouse's arms and legs, not a good reason, according to Michael Knowles. He can't think of a single good reason. I mean, think about the level of scum that Michael Knowles is. Like, how evil do you have to be to not be able to think of a single reason to divorce your spouse? Like, literally, no matter what? We went over in the previous episode or two, you know, the Bible's clear allowance for divorce. But this scum thinks, I mean, murder, torture, you know, I mean, this is just weird. Like, he literally can't think of a single thing. This is bizarre.
More, it's like abuse, infidelity, where women, it's like I wasn't happy anymore.
Yeah.
So you know, no, because I think if you're a good wife nowadays, it's rare.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it is.
you know, I think it's kind of the onus on me to make the marriage like.
But isn't it if you're not worried about him leaving you, and he
Yeah, I mean,
then
if it
shouldn't
happens,
you just
if
say
it
I will
happens,
never?
If it happens, it's an L. But
It's a big L. You would be.
It's an
handling
L.
the
I wouldn't
for
want
sure.
it.
But wouldn't it be, when you're getting married to future Mr. Pearl, you know, shouldn't you just say, hey, pal, I will never, under any circumstances, divorce you. So
Yeah.
help me God. Which is
Well-
actually the vow you
Well,
take.
there's so many women that.
Wait, he thinks that's the vow? It's in sickness and in health, not under any not if they intentionally, willfully kill your children or try to kill you or start chopping off your arms and legs or go off and start becoming a child serial killer. It's in sickness and in health. It's not for under any circumstances you remain together. Like, this guy doesn't even know the basic wedding vows? What? I mean, this is like several lengths of World Trade Center elevator shaft dropouts. I mean, how many super duper dingers does this guy have to commit for every? It's like I'm crowning him the Dunning-Kruger champ without even running the MINDSHOCK logical analysis system. I've never, like, he's dropped the floor out on his own goofery. Now he's dropping out elevator shaft, like these lengthy, you know, 100+ story elevator shafts out on his own goofery, and he's increased the frequency of doing so. He doesn't even know the marriage vow. I mean, why is he even talking on this subject? It's weird.
That say that and they don't mean it, and then they do
But you
something
do mean it.
completely. I do mean it, but I think, you know, part of growing up is being able to see another point of view and another perspective. And just because I mean it, you know, it doesn't. I'm not offended that he would want a prenup or he would want to
You
protect
should be
himself.
offended by that. You should be.
I don't think you should be. I think we should be trying.
I mean, I could read the full vows here. Obviously, there's some discrepancy, but in general, it's I name, take you, name, to be my wife or husband, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till death do us part, according to God's holy law. So, according to God's holy law, not according to anything in any circumstances. It's very specific here. And this is my solemn vow. And obviously, we went over all of the allowances for divorce in the Bible in the previous episode. You can check that out. So it's not under any circumstances for any reason there will be no divorce ever. I mean, Knowles, if he's not even on a children's English level, I mean, this is really, really tough.
You know, I think you should try to make men like more comfortable with it because, you know.
But I don't think giving men a greater option to divorce makes them more comfortable with marriage. I think it makes them less comfortable.
Wait, how is that a greater option? How is adding a backup parachute doesn't give you an increased chance of dying? It gives you an increased chance of surviving. I mean, again, there's the level of, I don't know if it's deception, mental illness, just pure mental retardation. I don't know what the issue is here. I mean, Knowles has officially stumped me.
Marriage. I think the greater the opportunity to break it up, the worse it is for the institution.
So adding backup parachutes is worse for the institution of skydiving? Like, how so? How so? I mean, does he even believe what he's spewing here? Let's look at his face here. Does he even believe it? I don't know. I mean, the amount of mental illness we might be dealing with here, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but right now one party is rewarded where one's punished.
Yeah.
So
one party has a great opportunity to do it, and one party has much less of an opportunity. But I don't think that's ameliorated by growing the opportunity of the other party, right?
But it's not growing an opportunity. It's mitigating it's lessening the risk. So if again, all of this is false premise. He doesn't understand the basic definitions. I mean, he's operating with a mental level lower than even a 2-year-old here. I mean, there's really not much more we can analyze.
Wouldn't the better one be to just say, may I be struck down dead if I divorce you, pal, but we're in it together?
yeah, but you can say that, but it doesn't make it.
I mean, wow. I mean, this is another elevator shaft. I mean, this is like this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. I mean, I don't know what to do here. I mean, this is like a Burj Khalifa elevator shaft dropout. I mean, we're I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think Michael Knowles has possibly left me speechless here.
True. So I think,
Your word is your bond, isn't it?
Wow, he's going with word is bond, yo. That's where we're left. That's where Knowles is now. I mean, even in the playground, I mean, I guess it depends on the year, first grade. Like, at what year do children realize that when someone says word is bond, it doesn't always mean it? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what year. There's always those sharp kids that are very skeptical, even from the very first person that ever says word is bond. They're still skeptical. But apparently word is bond, yo, is good enough for Michael Knowles. Well, that settles that. Why did they even have this discussion if word is bond?
I mean, that's what they say, but
yours is.
just
Or not.
because just because I would not leave and I would not divorce, I understand how many women have said that before and done the opposite thing. And while, it's not my fault, I think it's fair to make men feel more comfortable with it. So I don't need the government to why do I need the government?
Because we
to-
live in society.
What? This statist scum has only because we live. Why do we need the government? Because we live under a government. Like, the circular reasoning here is completely off the charts. I mean, this guy truly doing the devil's work here.
But I don't think I need the government to confirm something that's between me, him, and God, and
But
the
it's not
community
just
and
between
the
you, him, and God.
community that I'm in.
It's and the community.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah, the state is not a community. It's not your fellow villagers, your fellow man. That's all helping you. I mean, this is crazy.
the politics.
Wait, what? Okay, he just dropped out another Burj Khalifa elevator shaft. The politics is the community? What? I've never seen this level of goofery before. Okay, I don't know how many people are still claiming that he's not the Dunning-Kruger champ. I mean, this is wild. Pinto Sack here. Bruce, did your friend who came up with the school equals prison analogy end up getting married? Wonder if he equated that to prison as well. You know what? I haven't been in touch with him for many, many years. I don't know, actually. I don't know whatever happened to that guy. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I could ask around maybe, but I don't know. I don't know if I know anybody who's still in touch with him either. But yeah, I mean, these Burj Khalifa elevator shaft dropouts, I mean, these are crazy. I mean, these are absolute, like, is it possible he's not the Dunning-Kruger champ now? Because I was suspecting he might be around part 3, part 4. Part 5, part 6, he's a serious contender. Now, I think I'm going to have to call it. I've never seen anyone argue this badly on any subject. The level of goofery and then the dropouts on the goofery. I mean, I've just never seen anything like this.
That's just another word.
That's just another... He thinks community is another word for politics. So, I mean, in Zomia, they haven't even had any government for thousands of years. They get married, they have kids. There's no need for mercenaries to steal money from them and kill them while calling themselves government. Like, this clueless goof doesn't know the difference between your fellow villagers and mercenaries robbing and killing you. I mean, wow.
I don't think the government really should be in marriage. I think that's something that should be in the church.
What is the government?
I don't.
Wow. So Michael Knowles doesn't even know what the government is. So he's asking, what is the government? Wow. He just, I mean, is there anybody in the chat right now who's not willing to crown him the Dunning-Kruger champ? He doesn't know any of these words. Dave Scott says Mr. Jazz Hands has bigger dropouts, but Sartain is more Dunning-Kruger. Well, okay. If we're going to split hairs over whether or not deception should count level of fallaciousness, because Sartain might be dumber on paper and less intentionally deceptive, but Knowles' fallacies and extremity of fallacy, even if deceptive and even if he truly has the level of intelligence to understand the fallaciousness, we still have to count them, right? You know, if we're doing a body count, you know, accidental versus intentional, I mean, if we're simply counting the bodies, you know, we might have to crown him the champ.
What is the government?
Yeah. You're talking about the government like it's some foreign thing. What is the government? We're just talking about the political.
Well, I don't think the government should be the legal enforcement arm for children.
What else operates the law?
Wow. So this goof doesn't even understand the concept of falsification is independent of replacement. He went to what else could it? What? This is absolute insanity. Does this guy not even know the basic definitions of government, free market, statism, fascism? I mean, this guy doesn't know anything. Like, I'm actually shocked that I actually thought he was intelligent. I mean, this is wild. I mean, maybe he still is, and this is all a deceptive act, and he's just doing the devil's work here as a charlatan. But either way, this is, I mean, I'm crowning him the champ. I mean, you know, call me crazy. This guy's the champ.
Than the government.
Mm-hmm.
By definition, the government is what operates the law.
The government is what operates the law by definition? Govern means to control. Ment is the root from mentalist, the mind. Mind control. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, I really don't want to get into another hour of getting into the Constitution because it's going to be, I mean, this guy probably doesn't even know what the Constitution is. He probably doesn't understand how rights work. I mean, just based on what he said. You know? I mean, this is crazy.
And passes the law and enforces
for me personally, Michael, I would be okay with a prenup. I would not be offended. I would not be offended by a DNA test. I think that's fine. So.
All right. Well, listen, I hope you find a good man who, based on that, but I think you'll find a better man if you say I won't sign a prenup.
What? What? Based on what? And how much are Knowles' thoughts even worth here based on this performance on this subject?
I think I'll find a dumber man, but...
Yeah, Christopher Allen, we're pretty much wrapping up here. I think I'm going to have to crown Michael Knowles the Dunning-Kruger champ. I mean, I'll still run the logical analysis system so we can get the exact metrics. But this performance is probably the worst performance I've ever seen in any debate on any subject. I mean, it's actually, and look at that feminine laugh. I mean, this is just weird. But you know what's crazy? I really thought it would be a flat earth debate that would have the worst performance ever. The fact that Michael Knowles was able to put in a worse performance in a non-flat earth debate, I mean, this is kind of crazy in and of itself. Yeah, that was a good zinger, yeah.
Because that is dumb. Let me know in 10 years if the
And he didn't even have a rebuttal to that.
marriage rates go up with this strategy.
Well, look, they won't go up if people keep being big libs, but that's why I'm a little concerned that even people who rightly diagnose the problems with marriage are coming up with solutions that will not help in the end.
But at least they know the basic definitions, unlike Michael Knowles.
Namely, men being selfish.
So it's selfish if you don't want to quit your 9 to 5 and go to the casino. I mean, this is kind of weird.
I think that's kind of a mischaracterization of the way I would put it.
That is the most polite response someone could possibly give. Wow. That is the most polite response that I can think of to what Knowles just said.
I don't think protecting yourself is selfish.
Or men, sort of walking away, as you put it earlier.
I did not say that every guy should do that, so I don't know why you keep trying to say I said that.
Suggested it would be a good strategy.
No, I said
You
that.
explicitly
I
said
said that. I said that some men will. So
No, you literally said it's a good strategy to do that.
She is so fed up with his goofery here because his straw manning and false premises. She didn't say that. She did say it might be a good strategy to boycott something if it's bad. So if somebody keeps stealing your money, it might be a good idea to boycott whoever's stealing your money. If someone's keeping you from, if there's something, if there's some place that doesn't allow you to see your children in that particular place, maybe boycotting that particular place is a good idea.
And I didn't say they should do it. So I don't know what we're...
So the phrase, it is a good strategy to, and one should, are semantically identical.
Okay.
They mean exactly the same thing.
It is an option.
I mean, he's still spamming those red herring and non sequitur fallacies.
It is an option, but that's not, we all agree it's an option. We're just asking what's best to do.
No, I don't, again, I don't try to say what's...
But you accidentally did.
That's...
I believe he did. Yeah, let's, 100% of the people who voted said that Knowles is a sodomite, yes.
I try not to say what's best. I try to...
Why not? You're a smart girl, Pearl. Why don't you tell us what you think?
She's a smart girl, smart enough to decimate him. She's a lot smarter than him, at least on this subject. I mean, I don't know what's going on here.
Well, because again, I think it's about what is and what the reality of the world is. And I, again, until you lower the risk for men and raise the reward, you're not going to see traditionalism return in any capacity. So.
Okay, well, we'll see. Because I guess...
We'll see. If more people keep playing Russian roulette, the body count's not going to go down. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Man, I have to crown Knowles the champ. I have to. I mean, this is crazy.
My
This guy's stuttering and sputtering like this is just insane.
Way that I would impel people to engage in more traditional and I think lifestyles that are more conducive to their flourishing is just to tell them.
Lifestyles more conducive to their flourishing? What exactly is he talking about? Are these dog whistles for sodomy? Lifestyles conducive to their flourishing. I mean, this guy's like a master of just saying nothing with big words.
to do it and encourage them to do it. And when they do the thing, when they do the rational activity in accordance with,
He simultaneously uses all these large syllable words, and then he follows up with "do the thing." I mean, again, I have to go back to my split personality theory. He's like oscillating between a smart guy being deceptive, doing the devil's work, and an actually mentally disabled personality.
virtue that will lead to their happiness. So I think, sort of by definition, that will help. But I guess the other thing we could do is disengage, sit on our hands, and watch Rome burn.
I think we could come together and make the laws more fair.
Another false dichotomy and straw man stack for him, because that's not what she was saying at all.
For men.
Yeah.
And I think that would be the solution that we would agree on.
It's part of it.
Okay.
But don't sit on
That's
your hands for
number
the rest
one.
of the time.
Well, that's not what she said. And so he agreed with her here. He just went contrarian on top of contrarian on top of contrarian.
Number one.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. And in the meantime, people will make their own decisions.
Okay.
Pearl, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having
Pleasure
me.
to chat with you.
I'd be scared to touch his hand. But yeah, wow, we finished. We finally finished this analysis. Oh man. Wow. Wow. We need some more cheering here for getting through this. Okay. All right. Wow. Jess Palmer, you just missed possibly the crowning of the new Dunning-Kruger champ. I mean, this guy's goofery dropouts and frequency in rapid succession. I mean, I think he upstaged even Craig and Sartain. I really do. I really do. I mean, this was quite the mental task to break down the level of goofery that is Michael Knowles' possibly the worst performance in any debate on any subject. So, Dave Scott maintains Sartain as champ. Well, let me do the retroactive logical analysis so we can actually get the metrics on Knowles' goofery. So we can get the exact numbers. And I believe we do need to introduce the super duper dinger just for Knowles. I think he committed 3 or 4. I mean, wow. I mean, this government bootlicker. I mean, this statist doing the devil's work here with his deception. Quite disgusting to watch. But yeah, the next logical analysis is definitely going to be a flat earth one. And it's definitely not going to involve Michael Knowles. There's only so much of this goof I can handle. I might have met my quota for life on Michael Knowles. But anyway, hope everybody found another edition of the MINDSHOCK podcast interesting and informative. If you want to help support the podcast, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. You can also become a YouTube member right here on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed, like and share, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Patreon. This is Bruce McGuire signing off. Catch you guys next time.